Remember when Blink-182 broke up? Well, we're going to talk about why they broke up because I had no idea the real tea behind this breakup until Travis Barker dropped his memoir and told us all the tea. Welcome back to Kourtney and Travis, part 13. Travis just got his own reality show. He had just gotten married to Shayna, the mother of his child, Landon. He had 2 healthy children, Atiana and Landon. Everything was going great. And that sounds about right because that's usually when shit hits the fan. Except this time, the thing that would be going wrong would be that Blink-182 was on the verge of breaking up. On February 22nd, 2005, Blink-182 broke up for, as Travis phrases it, no good reason. At this point, the 3 band members had become very distant because they all got married. They were all starting their own families and their own lives. It wasn't just the 3 of them single, running around, causing a lot of chaos anymore. Things were different. Travis states that he could tell Tom specifically really wanted a break from the band. Despite the fact that Blink-182 was still huge, they were still one of the biggest bands ever. The last 3 albums that they had put out with Travis were so successful. They went on sold out tours all over the country, literally all over the globe. But it wasn't just their past fame that Travis was worried about. They had already started writing for their next album as well. And Travis didn't want all of that to go to waste. He did not want the magic that the 3 had created to go out the window, despite Tom wanting to take a break. Travis and Mark very much did not want the band to split up, and Travis was willing to work out any differences that any of the group members had in order to keep Blink-182 going and still successful and still together. But instead, tensions brewed and the band built bad blood between each other. And eventually, all 3 members quit talking altogether. Travis does blame a lot of this on their manager, Rick, which is interesting because he states that Rick was on Tom's side and then Mark and Travis were on their own side. So it was Mark and Travis versus Rick and Tom. But here's what I don't get. I don't get why Rick would take Tom's side if he was their manager, because as a manager, you want the band to stay together. You want them to be successful. That's the more money you're making that the band's making. So why would their manager side with Tom and be like, yeah, we should take a break? That's just strange to me. And it was strange to Travis and Mark as well, who were trying to keep the band together. But ultimately, Travis shares that the band didn't share the same goals or the same desires anymore. They didn't even communicate, meaning that Blink-182 was destined for problems. But things finally came to a halt when they had a rehearsal together. After the rehearsal was done, the 3 needed to plan out the next year for recording, for a new tour. So they were checking what their availability was. And this turned into an argument between the 3 because they could not come to a clear consensus on when they would all 3 be free. It was just giving that Mark and Travis were trying to save the band and Tom was already checked out. He's like, nah, I don't have free time. Ending with the 3 having an argument, and they did not talk after that. They left the studio still not figuring out when they were going to get together, which already is a bad idea. You should never leave an argument without figuring it out first. And Tom was proof of that because the very next day, Travis got a call from Rick stating that Tom had quit the band. Not only that, but Tom went back to San Diego and changed his phone number, meaning neither Mark or Travis could get a hold of him to even see what the deal was, if there was any chance for reconciliation. There was none of that. Tom went and he fell off the grid. He wanted nothing to do with Blink-182 anymore. In the meantime, their manager, Rick, would issue a statement stating that the band was on an indefinite hiatus. Shockingly, I found the original statement that they put out. It reads, "For over a decade, Blink-182 has toured, recorded, and done nonstop promotion, all while trying to balance relationships with family and friends. To that end, the band has decided to go on an indefinite hiatus to spend some time enjoying the fruits of their labors with their loved ones. While there is no set plan for the band to begin working together again, no one knows what tomorrow may bring." This was released on February 22nd, 2005, marking their official breakup date. Travis states too that months would go by before he would ever speak to Tom again, and he thought there was a point where he would never speak to him again. He was very angry at him. He was also very angry at Rick for getting in the middle. But Travis, he didn't really have time to try to pour into this relationship with Tom. He was now worried about figuring out what his new primary source of income would be, as Blink had been his major gig for the last 5 years at this point. Longer than that, actually, the last 6 years. In the meantime, Travis had to dive into something, anything that would allow him to play drums for money and gain notoriety. So back in the summer of 2002, on the side, Travis had joined a band called the Transplants, and they would just play whenever whenever he had time from Blink, So he fully dove into that. And now the Transplants were a little bit different than Blink-182. They were primarily a rock rap group, which Travis has always been inspired by hip hop style, just where he grew up in Fontana. That was a big influence for him. So he just dove headfirst into playing with the Transplants. And at this point, the Transplants were in the middle of recording their second record. So Travis dove straight into that project. And around this time too, Travis would gain another substance that he would be addicted to, which was lean. He started drinking a lot of lean around this time also, and stated that from the time he woke up until the time he went to sleep, he was smoking weed, he was smoking cigarettes, he was drinking, he was smoking weed with Coca-Cola mixed in it. He was just never sober, ever, like at any point throughout the day. And unfortunately, due to Travis's heavy addiction to substances, this was a negative influence on this man named Tim Armstrong. Tim was the lead singer of the Transplants. He's also a lead singer of Rancid too, if you're familiar with that scene. But anyway, the point is, he was playing with them, around them, and Tim was sober around this time. So being around somebody like Travis, it gave him a lot of temptation. And he was very honest with Travis about this. He's like, here's the deal. Like, I can't tempt my own sobriety. We just gotta not. The Transplants are going to have to break up. And, Travis actually took this very well because he totally understood what Tim was saying. Once again, Travis is very self-aware of his own addiction, though he doesn't see the need to really recover from it. He's just that far into it. But he understands Tim's decision to end the Transplants. So now Travis is in a position where both of his bands have broken up in less than a year, turning his entire world upside down. And this also caused a lot of problems with his marriage to Shayna as well, which is where some of their major arguments started to begin. So that's brewing in the background. Travis is still trying to figure out how to make some money for his family, to the lifestyle they're now accustomed to. And that's when Travis starts collaborating with various hip hop artists. He worked for Gross, but he worked for Diddy for his video Bad Boy for Life, worked with Pharrell Williams. He also had previous connections to the Black Eyed Peas, because back in the day, the Black Eyed Peas, when they were still like strictly just like a hip hop group, they went on Warped Tour with Blink-182 back in the day. So he started collaborating with them, with Lil Wayne, of course, and he got to the point where he was doing several different things, but he was making beats for a lot of rappers and hip hop artists. He was also collaborating on a lot of songs. He was just doing anything to start getting money for his family. But that's when Travis started getting into DJing as well. And that's when he met this man named Adam Goldstein, also known as DJ AM, and they started DJing together. And one thing about DJing, especially back in the 2000s, they pay you a shitload of money to go to club appearances. And I mean like tens of thousands of dollars to show up to one appearance. So that's how Travis started making a lot of his money after Blink-182 broke up, as well as making beats and collaborating with other artists on the side. Like I told you guys, Travis is always cooking up something. Like, that man is always working. In addition to that, his clothing brand, Famous Stars and Straps, had taken off by then. They were selling $100 million a year in product, just to give you an idea. And I've already told you guys, but Famous was a very huge prominent brand for the 2000s, so I'm not shocked to hear this, but another large chunk of his money was also coming from his brand. So luckily he had that going on as well. Now, kind of back to Blink-182 for a minute. Although Tom was on the outs with Mark and with Travis, Mark and Travis would still talk. They were still friends despite Blink-182 breaking up. They were the only two against it breaking up. They didn't want it to break up. So then these two ended up getting together, and they had a band called Plus 44, which had moderate success. Mark was the lead singer of this band, though they tried to make it a little bit different. Travis wanted to have a girl lead singer just to make it different from Blink. Ended up not working out, so Mark became the lead singer. So he had that band going on. Then Travis also started doing remixes and posting them on YouTube. He got one that was like 30 million views, and that was a lot back in the day. This led him to start collaborating with other artists like Gwen Stefani, Soulja Boy. He even remixed Umbrella by Rihanna. I'm running out of time, so we'll have to talk more about this, as well as the birth of Travis's second child, Mrs. Alabama Barker.